The 8th anniversary event is coming up in Pokemon Go, and in this video I'm going to be going over everything you need to know in order to take advantage of it. Once again, despite the popular opinion to criticize this event, I actually think it's incredibly underrated, especially for new and returning players. So first of all, this event is going to be taking place from June 28th at 10 AM to July 3rd at 8 PM, local time. Now the bonuses are going to be as follows. We're going to get an increased chance to become lucky friends with our best friends from daily interactions. We're also going to get an increased chance to get lucky Pokemon from regular trades, and you guys can trade up to 100 Pokemon every single day. Now on top of that, we're also going to be getting double friendship level increases from daily interaction. So for those of you on my friends list, I'm going to try to send out gifts more frequently, so make sure to open them. And then finally, we're going to get a chance to find 8 or 88 Gimme Ghoul coins when using Golden Lure modules. Now we're actually going to have 3 more bonuses on top of that, but they're going to be featured on different days. So the first bonus is going to be 1/2 incubator distance, which is going to take place from June 28th to June 29th from 10 AM to 11:59 PM. Following that, we're going to have double catch experience from June 30th to July 1st, 12 AM to 11:59 PM. And then finally, we're going to have 2 times catch Stardust from July 2nd to July 3rd at 12 AM to 8 PM. Now depending on what you guys want to actually focus on, these bonuses are going to be great for all players, but I do want to give you a fair warning that starter Pokemon typically do have lower catch rates. So make sure that you do have some raspberries on hand going into this event, otherwise you may struggle a lot. Going off personal experience, in the past, this has definitely made this type of event very frustrating. Not to mention, Niantic did recently make some changes to how Pokemon are caught, so it is a bit more difficult to get great and excellent throws currently. Now with that being said, this isn't to discourage you though, just be prepared going into this event. A lot of these starter Pokemon actually have great meta relevance in raids as well as PvP. So keeping in mind all of these great bonuses, and not to mention the friend limit being increased to 450, I've actually decided to add 10 to 20 viewers to farm some easy experience. I'm going to be focused on getting to Ultra Friends as soon as possible, so if you guys would like to add me in game and get some easy experience as well, comment your friend code down below and let me know which one of my videos you have really enjoyed this year, or leave a suggestion for a video that you would like to see me make in the future. Fair warning, I'm going to be removing players a week after we hit Ultra Friends, which should give you enough time to actually get the experience on your side. It's going to be 50,000 experience without a lucky egg and 100,000 experience with one. Once again, I'm going to try to send gifts as often as possible during this event, so please make sure to open them. Next up, let's go over the Pokemon debut for this event. So we're going to be getting Grimer with a party hat. Now I know some of you guys may be wondering why this Pokemon was actually selected, and if we actually take a deeper look, we can see that it's going to be number 88 in the Pokedex, which is kind of cool considering that this is going to be the 8th anniversary event. Last year the party hat Pokemon was Squirtle, which is actually number 7 in the Pokedex. So when it comes down to it, I feel like I have to give Niantic credit for at least being a little bit creative here. This is kind of cool. Next up, let's talk about the Meltan Box. So during this event, the shiny for Meltan is going to be turned on once again, which means it's time to grab some mystery boxes. The cooldown for these is also going to be reduced during this event, so you can redeem them a little bit more often. Now for those of you who are unsure on how to actually get a Meltan mystery box in Pokemon Go, there's going to be 2 ways to do it. The first way is by transferring a Pokemon to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, and the second way is by transferring a Pokemon to Pokemon Home. The latter is much easier in my opinion, and if you want a full walkthrough on how to do that, I'm going to leave a tutorial link down below. This was actually uploaded to my second channel where I post more main series Pokemon content, so while you're there, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Now with that being said, how good is Melmetal in Pokemon Go? So first of all, it's not going to be great for raid battles, but it's actually pretty good for rocket battles. This is mainly due to it having relevance in every single open league format for PvP. It's also really accessible and easy to build to level 50 thanks to Meltan technically being a mythical Pokemon. This means that you're going to be able to get at least 3 extra large Meltan candy per catch guaranteed if you're level 31 or higher. Combined with the fact that you can get up to 60 Meltan spawns from 1 mystery box, yeah, that's definitely a quick way to get to level 50. Now in terms of meta relevance though, Melmetal is good to use in the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League formats, although I will say that it has gone down in the rankings in the Open Great League and the Ultra League metas. There are going to be 2 main movesets that you can run on it, either Thunder Shock plus Superpower and Rock Slide, or Thunder Shock plus Double Iron Bash plus Rock Slide or Superpower. Double Iron Bash is a legacy move on Melmetal, so this will require an Elite Charge TM. When I got my Shundo Meltan from a lucky trade, I ended up using the Elite TM to get this on my Melmetal, and I can definitely say that it was worth it. Because Melmetal is a Steel-type Pokemon, and this move benefits from Stab, whereas the other ones not so much. Not to mention, it is super spammy, and it does not debuff your stats unlike Superpower. Now with that being said, if we take a look at the rankings on PvPoke, this move is not actually recommended anymore, but in the past it was. So I would have to imagine that this has more to do with the current meta rather than it actually not being good. So if you end up getting the Hundo, I would actually say that it is worth using the Elite TM on. Moving on, let's talk about the wild encounters next. So we're going to have this broken down into 2 different sections, right? Because we have all the starters technically featured during this event, but a lot of them are going to be featured during different timelines, kind of similar to the bonuses that I talked about earlier on. But there are going to be Pokemon that are going to be featured during the entirety of the event, and most of them are costume Pokemon, but we also have the Gen 9 starters as well. So we're going to have Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Pikachu, Grimer, and Eevee all with party hats. And then we're also going to have the Gen 9 starters, Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxly. And then we also have Alolan Grimer as a rare spawn for some reason. I think that just has more to do with Grimer being the featured Pokemon, but yeah, not really that big of a deal. I mean, I guess it is technically good for the Open Ultra League, so there is that. Apparently the shiny odds are actually boosted for Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Pikachu, and Grimer as well. For some reason Eevee was excluded, I have no idea why. To my knowledge as well, you can only evolve Charmander and Squirtle to their final stage forms. I don't believe you can actually evolve Bulbasaur with that party hat just yet. Now in terms of the other starter Pokemon that are going to be featured during this event, from June 28th to June 29th from 10 AM to 11:59 PM, we're going to have the Gen 2 plus Gen 3 starter Pokemon. And then from June 30th to July 1st from 12 AM to 11:59 PM, we're going to have the Gen 4 plus Gen 5 starter Pokemon. And then finally from July 2nd to July 3rd, 12 AM to 8 PM, we're going to have the Gen 6 plus Gen 7 starter Pokemon. Now in terms of the starter Pokemon, the only ones that can't be shiny are going to be the Gen 9 starters and Poplio. Every other Pokemon can be shiny. I'm also planning on doing a full meta-analysis going over every single one of these starter Pokemon and their meta relevance, but that would be way too much to cover in this video, so I'm going to cover that one in a separate video. Next up, let's go over the event-themed field research task. So we're going to be getting free Mega Energy on Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert. Without a doubt, this is going to be a great time to do as many of these tasks as possible. It wasn't actually stated how much energy we're going to be getting per, but I want to say it's probably about 10. And specifically the Hoenn Mega Evolutions are some of the best Pokemon in the entire game. Now with that being said though, Mega Charizard and Mega Venusaur are also really good Mega Pokemon, so if you don't have Mega level 3 on any of these, then I seriously recommend doing as many of these tasks as possible. Now we're also going to have timed research, which is going to award Party Hat Raticate, Party Hat Nidorino, and Party Hat Wobbuffet, all previous Party Hat Pokemon. And then we're also going to be having a special research ticket for $2, and guys, without a doubt, this is one of the best tickets I've ever seen Niantic put out. So you're going to be getting an incubator, a super incubator, 1 premium raid pass, a lucky egg, rocket radar, star piece, incense, Poffin, 88,000 experience, and a Meltan encounter. Seriously, it's not even an understatement here. Like, this might be the best ticket Niantic has offered the entire year. You're getting so much value for just $2. With all the premium items taken off their shop value, this is worth close to $10. It is an absolutely incredible deal. Now we're also going to be having a Masterwork special research for Celebi, which is going to cost $5. The title of this quest is going to be called Whispers in the Woods, and you can't actually purchase this if you completed the Distracted by Something Shiny special research a couple years ago. Surprisingly though, that one was actually free, so I was able to get that one done, which means I technically can't even buy this if I wanted to. Now what's actually really interesting is that there's also going to be some special bonuses when you actually buy this Masterwork special research, but if you already completed that previous special research quest, you're also going to get these bonuses as well. So the bonuses are going to be as follows. You're going to get 2 times incense duration, 2 times daily adventure incense duration, and 2 times lucky egg duration. It's actually so crazy that Niantic has actually given long-term players an additional benefit just for being long-term players. Like, that almost never happens. Usually it's always focused on newer players somehow. So the fact that if you were actually playing a few years ago and you did this research already, which was again free, like, you're going to be getting these additional bonuses on top of that. That's so freaking cool, man. Now for those of you guys who weren't actually playing a few years ago, is this ticket actually worth it? So in my opinion, it's only if you want shiny Celebi. That is the only reason that I would actually get this. Historically, in main series Pokemon games, getting shiny mythical Pokemon have been incredibly difficult due to their limited releases. So if you ended up missing it last time, then I would get the ticket, but if you don't really care about Celebi, then I would just skip it. Now there's also going to be a special anniversary box in the web store for $5. It's actually going to give you some pretty decent items. You're going to get 3 remote raid passes, 3 premium raid passes, and 1 incubator. So for the value alone for $5, that is still pretty good. In my opinion, this is actually another really good deal and one that I would encourage you to get as we approach Pokemon Go Fest Global. If you're free to play, obviously don't buy this, but if you're not free to play, I mean seriously, you're definitely going to want to have these raid passes for Necrozma raids during day 2 of Pokemon Go Fest Global. Speaking of raid battles though, let's go over the legendary and mega raids that are going to be featured during this event. So we're going to have Ho-Oh available from June 28th to July 8th. The regular form for Ho-Oh really isn't that great in the raid/Jid meta, but if you trade this Pokemon with a friend for better PvP IVs, it does actually have play in the Ultra League. It's going to be ranked within the top 150. Now on top of that, Ho-Oh is also going to have some pretty good play in the Open Master League if you end up getting the Hundo. Unfortunately, Ho-Oh won't actually have access to Sacred Fire, which is going to be its signature moveset, so if you end up getting a good IV spread either for Ultra League or for the Open Master League, you're going to have to give it an Elite TM. Now in terms of our Mega option, we're going to have Mega Tyranitar available from the same date, from June 28th to July 8th. So Mega Tyranitar, guys, is the king of Rock and Dark types currently in Pokemon Go. If you want to run it as a Rock type attacker though, you will need the Legacy move Smackdown, which is a fast move, but if you end up getting a good IV spread and you already have a Dark type Tyranitar built, I would definitely consider using Elite TM to give it Smackdown. Now I actually got a comment in my last video saying that Mega Diancie is better than Mega Tyranitar, and while both of them are definitely equal on the DPS times TDO spreadsheet, I would actually have to say that Mega Tyranitar is much better, and I'm going to explain why. In terms of DPS, Mega Diancie is better, but in terms of TDO, Tyranitar is king. Now if we actually combine DPS times TDO together, they're both pretty closely matched. But in terms of getting them to level 50, that is a huge difference right there. In terms of accessibility, like Mega Diancie is just ridiculously hard to actually get to level 50, whereas Mega Tyranitar is a lot more accessible. Like, yeah, it's still going to be difficult, don't get me wrong, it's still a pretty rare Pokemon to get, but that being said, it is not nearly as difficult as getting Mega Diancie to level 50. So while yeah, like Mega Diancie is technically better in terms of DPS, in terms of overall accessibility of Pokemon, Mega Tyranitar is the one that you want to focus on because you're more likely to build that to level 50 opposed to Mega Diancie. Like, seriously, name one person who actually has a level 50 Mega Diancie. I'll wait. That's what I thought. So basically, long story short, guys, raid Mega Tyranitar, get that initial energy, and definitely grind as many Mega Tyranitar raids as possible for the additional extra large candy. Anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps things up for this video. If you still want to check out some more content, watch these two videos right here. But before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.